A very warm welcome. You're watching the 1 p.m. newscast with me, Akanksha Swaroop, on CNN News 18. And this is a mega CNN News 18 impact story. After 150 hours of the FIR and immense public and media pressure on the Karnataka government, the prominent Lingayat seer Shivamurthy has been finally arrested last night. The seer, who was sent for 14 days of judicial custody, has now been shifted into the ICU ward of the district hospital after he complained of chest pain. His lawyers have said that he was not keeping well for the last 15 days and that the bail plea will be filed tomorrow. Meanwhile, the police has arrested the warden of the Mutt, Rashmi, as well. Despite being right under their nose, the state police kept on delaying action against the seer. Even after the case, the seer kept enjoying high-profile visits at the Mutt, with political leaders of both ruling and opposition parties having a soft tone towards him. The Chitradurga police has quizzed the seer overnight and is all set to seek his custody for further interrogation. For more details, let's quickly go across to our correspondent Ritu, who's joining me on the phone line and has been keeping a very close watch on this news story. Ritu, we are now told that the seer is in the ICU. How will these medical complaints that are being made by the seer and all these tests being run just a while ago, how are they going to impact the investigations now?
Yes, so you see, Seer was being brought to hospital, Chitradurga Government Hospital at around 9:30 a.m. when he complained about few cardiac issues and something like a chest pain and breathing issues and the kind of a body pain that he was having. So right after these kind of complaints, the police had rushed into the hospital 9:30 a.m. exactly, and it's been a very long time now. It's already 1 o'clock, but you see still now the medical process is on. So he underwent a medical test as well, many medical tests, BP, blood sugar, and other various medical tests like echo, ECG, CT scan as well. So these are the kind of a medical tests that he underwent, and now he's been brought to ICU. Then he's been monitored from the doctors, and just some time back, two doctors from Davangere, from SS government to Davangere, so they've been made to rush to this spot after he complained about the cardiac issues. So a doctor named Malish and Srinivas have been told to visit the hospital and monitor him because of the kind of medical issue, the condition that he had expressed to doctors. Now the monitoring is on, but now with that, the medical advice that will come out from these two doctors' office from Davangere will play a significant role as well. Whether he will be able to take this treatment here and will get fined this kind of a treatment in Chitradurga only, or is there a need as well that he will have to be switched to a different hospital which needs a better medical facility? So these are the kind of things that will turn out in some time. But speaking to us, DHO, the district health officer also said that he had a cardiac issue, so that's the reason they had called immediately the doctors from Davangere, and now they are monitoring. But after the reports comes out is when they will be able to take the next step in this whole procedure. But of course, as we're talking about the medical issues, this is not the first case that we are seeing, but previously as well, whenever there have been such kind of a high-profile arrests being made across the country, we have seen this kind of health issues that are being raised by the accused, and then they'll be taken for the medical checkup, and there the process also gets dragged. So this is something that we have seen in general as well, but we'll have to see to what exactly will turn out in some time now in this year's case.
Absolutely. Ritu, I'm going to request you to stay with us because I'm also joined in by Harish Upadhyay, who's joining us live, our correspondent. Harish, if you could take us through how the seer's current medical condition is expected to now linger this entire case and perhaps cause the ongoing investigations to go haywire. Also, are you hearing of reports indicating that the police will be applying of any sort of police remand for this year?
Well, the police want his remand. Remember, he hasn't been questioned so far. Yesterday, he was taken. After that, they had very brief period of, say, 1 hour or so. and then immediately they had to subject him to a medical test and also present him before the magistrate, and then eventually that went for judicial custody. In all likelihood, the police will seek his custody because for two reasons. One, he hasn't been questioned. Second, A2, Rashmi, has been arrested. Remember, yesterday CNN News 18 had exclusively informed our viewers that she was being questioned, and they will have to some way get more from the Swamiji based on what A2 Rashmi, the warden, says, corroborate both of it. That too has to happen. So they would want his custody. But look at the ploy that has been deployed by the Swamiji's side. This is something that we had anticipated yesterday itself. Just a few minutes after his arrest, his medical team was out there. His doctor was making a ground for this, saying that his health is not in great shape. He had suffered from COVID recently. He might end up having fluctuations in his BP. He might have breathing issues. And that's what is playing out today. He's complained of chest pain. He was taken to the hospital, now in the ICU. There is a second opinion being sought as well. There is also perhaps a possibility where they will say that he needs to be rushed to a higher and superior medical facility, which means he might be brought to Bengaluru. So all these are options being explored by his team, and this could, as you rightly mentioned, further delay the probe. He has to be questioned. At the same time, he has been subjected to a medical test, which is a routine one, but there has to be another one which will collect forensic evidence as well. So that too has to happen. Then that has to be corroborated with what has been found from the merger that has happened. For all this to happen, the police will need substantial amount of time with this year, and looks like that needs to be delayed. That's the kind of ploy being deployed by his legal team to delay this further, one, and second, keep this year out of the jail, out of the Chitradurga prison, and at least keep him in a government hospital.
Right. Stay with us, Harish. Let me quickly go across to Ritu, who's also live with us. Ritu, we heard what Harish had to say. He said that this also seems like a ploy being adopted by the Seer and the Mutt right now to avoid questioning by the police, because now the police, as we are having to believe, that is now all set to seek for remand. The kind of ploys that are being adopted by the Seer and his entire team, I'd like you to take us through how this entire case has been botched up right from the beginning, because first there was a lookout notice that had been issued that was earlier said that it was a precautionary measure. Even despite the FIR which mandated the arrest was left to the last moment. That too after we at CNN News 18 raised our voice and of course built pressure upon the police to take adequate action. But there's been a lot of delay in this case.